Training with myself, Mark Hartwright. Today in this kind of quick 20-minute session, we're going to look at how can we engage your students using the smart technology. So let's jump in and have just a brief introduction of myself. If you've ever seen any of the other videos within this chain as well, you know my name is Mark. You probably know that because I just introduced myself anyway, but hey ho, that's just me. I'm a former primary school teacher, absolutely love teaching, but for me it was using the hardware and software in itself to that really made that difference. So hopefully I can pass on some of that information for you today. If there's any other questions that do pop up during the session, feel free to obviously put those in the comments below, or if you want to email me or tweet me directly, feel free to do so with that as well. Should be good. So our objectives for this session now, like I said, we've got a quick 20 minutes, so let's just jump straight into it. We're going to look at how can we make engagement with individual handouts. How can we get the students involved on their own devices that they are within or without outside of the classroom? How can we make it a collaborative space? How can they come together in work into groups, either physically and then on the device as well, or actually in separate parts as well, and they're still collaborating, get together with your content that you're kind of sending out to them as well. We're going to look at resources, combining them together, including some great new templates that are in Lumio, but we'll also touch on them within Notebook and within the IQ unit as well. The IQ unit is just the Android unit as well. And hopefully we'll have some time at the end to look at engagement with multiple students, multiple ability groups, and across the ranges of activities as well. So let's jump in. So I've uploaded this lesson here into an online browser. The online browser, I went to Lumio, so lum.io. Signed in as a teacher, just using your normal school email address. As a trial for everyone, so feel free to use that. Or if you've got the full account, you're good to go anyway. And then from in here, I've got my lessons in here. This is fully integrated with your Google or with your Microsoft side. So if you can teach it, if you want to teach through Teams or Google Classroom, of course you can do that as well. And then one of these lessons here, I've added the activity here. I dragged and dropped this lesson. It could be a PDF, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a Google Slides, or of course it could be a smart notebook file. And then once that lesson's in here, I can click start on that one. And then as I click start here, my students can actually be part of this as well. So let's just jump in as a student. Let's just open up a separate web browser. And then for them, go to hellosmart.com. hellosmart.com. So they've gone to hellosmart.com and they're going to join to a place that looks like this one here. You can see it's a student when it loads in a moment, because you'll see a picture of the student on that side. They can either sign in with their Google credentials or their Microsoft credentials there, or just for now, we're just going to sign as guest. And that'll ask you for your teacher code. Now, my teacher code, as you might have just seen it from beforehand, is 162353. And then I can join, and then this is the way the students would join, and entering their name. Doesn't have to be all capitals, but I have for them today. So then this is the student side, that one, and then this side here is the teacher one. And then as I'm joining here, you can see that they're joining as well. So we're very much engaging with them because we've got that lesson in front of them. Yes, of course, it's fantastic to have it on a large display at the front of the class or wherever it might be within your classroom. But actually, if they've got it on their tables in front of them, or maybe on their lap if they're doing it somewhere else, then that might be equally their way they are going to engage with it. And then as I click next for the teacher here on this side, it's going to go next for the students as well. So it gives that bit of ownership to them. And it helps then the teacher to be able to engage with this at the moment, underlining, circling any of the key points with their objectives. And of course, it then focuses that attention for the learners as well. So jumping down, kind of continuing with this lesson here, we've got a bit of explanation. They can have that as referring back to us later on. And then as I go down, I'm just going to jump onto this page here. Now this page here, you can say you can see that it says in your groups. So because it is in your groups, what I'd like to do is to be able to send this out and have actual group work for that. So if I click on these people here, then you can see here the either collaborative space or an individual handout. And that's my collaborative space there. Now, when we did this live, you can actually see that we went into Teams and I was able to jump into those different groups there. So I'm just going to jump from the video here into the live one, and you can just see how that worked out there as well. So in this sense here, now I've got 4 people joined. Thank you for joining as well. I'm now going to, in that people there, I can change this to a collaborative workspace. Now, because it's a collaborative workspace, we're now working together to do this. And I could put us in different teams. Now we've got 4 of you joined today, so I could go up to 4. If there were 54 people joined, then obviously we can go up to 9 groups, up to about 6 in each group there. I'm just going to put us into 2 groups for now.
So it's now going to group those teams there. And then as I click start here as a teacher, you're now going to be converted into those two teams, into those groups. So we've got one group there, one group there. I'm just going to go into Peter and your group. And then in here, we can begin to actually expand these brackets. So just from a kind of a maths terms, it might be that someone comes up and starts trying to ink and you're talking together and you've got that 2 here and it's 2 lots of 3x. So 2 times 3x, it will be 6x that there. So I've just started it off for that group, giving them a bit of support for that one. Let's see if the other group, team 2, have started that as well. They've got a bit of a question mark. So that's kind of letting me know as a teacher, how do I support this group here? So it's 2 lots of that. So it's 2 lots of 3. Ooh. Let's rub that bit out. 3x. So that may be the start bit, and then they might that is equal to 6x. So I'm beginning to explain it for that group as well. I could use the visuals at the side as well, but I can begin to go into each group and actually give that support in each one of those. And let's go back to team 1 as well. And then they're doing that as well. A maths example, but you can see how I've got that group work and been going into those different teams there. Really way of kind of getting that engagement involved for each of those. So I've got 2 of these, that the way. I've got 2 of these, because you can see that there, and then 2 lots of 1. So I've got 2 of these here. So I'd have 2x squared, 6x squared, add 2 as a kind of teaching point there. But we won't go into the detail of maths today. We'll keep it on the how can we engage the students by using the smart technology. And that's a good example of that one there, where we've got those teams, they can come together, they can work that through. And obviously, if you've done some pre-teaching in that as well, maybe they need to learn actually removing the brackets from the bit above it. So I could go back into, rather than teacher paced, I could go into student paced. Now it's at student paced, they have to read that one again. And once you've read that one, you can go by yourselves back into the group work and carry on with that one, because you're now in teacher pace now. We've had 5 minutes looking at that. Let's go on to the next one.
So moving on to the next page. The next page within this kind of lesson that you'd sent out here is this one says individually. So like we looked at previously, where we could actually send it out collaboratively and have different groups working together with that one, this one here can be sent out individually so that each group can do it. And again, it could be a PDF, it could be a worksheet, whatever it was, you just want the class to have it. And obviously you can combine those resources within here as well. And then to do that, I can click on this one at the side here, and then rather than click on collaborative space, I can click on individual handout, and then that sends it individuals to everybody as well. And again, I'm going to cut out to the live one so you can see how we actually interacted with each other and saw how they live, and the teacher was able to jump into each of those activities as well.
So in this sense here, what I can do is, rather it's saying it individually. So if I click on these people here, trying to get them engaged, trying to get them being part of their work, where I can go around and kind of see all that engagement. So I click on the people and I can say, click on the individual handout. Now, what I'm doing with this one is letting individuals have a go with it. So I've taken this page here. It's a very static page to start with, and now it's an interactive one. I've got my teacher handout here, so I can begin to model for everybody. I can, based on kind of the lessons and the learning we've done already, we can look at 5 times x minus, and then it's going to be 5 times 2. And solving that, 5 times 2 is obviously minus 10 equals 35. So I can model that as a first step for the whole class. And then once I've modeled that, I can see that Peter's made a start here. And then Peter has actually gone through and done that bit there. He's done that bit, and I can give him some positive feedback for that. I can give him a tick for that bit, and then continue within Peter's work there. Let's see if anybody else is brave enough to start as well. Liz has started as well. There we go. So thanks, Liz, for making pressing start on that one. But you get the hang of it, that I can go into those individual people, giving either feedback, encouragement, or into that whole class and just that modeling side of things as well, trying to get them all engaged.
Awesome. So that was great to be able to see that and actually have interaction with that. And if you want to join live as part of that session as well and really have that interaction with the session rather than just a YouTube video, then feel free to join up, sign up and join next time as well. I'll leave the details in the comments on the links to this video as well. So let's actually just end this lesson. So if I end this lesson here, and it was this one here, like I said, I'm looking at combining the activities. So if I click on these 3 dots and click on edit, I've now got this activity, got this lesson here that I've added to it. And what I can do is I can add content and I can import resources. And I can either be from local storage or from my library, and obviously if it's connected to your Google account, it's going to look straight to your Google Drive as well. And from there, I can bring in that additional file, whether that's just one page of it or multiple pages from that file, and actually begin to build up that lesson. To being able to have everything in one place, I found definitely teaching that it made me focus my brain a little bit, but it also helped the students focus their brain a little bit, knowing that it's kind of like in that linear fashion, we're working through this and getting it done. Yes, of course, we went on different tangents in different places, but if we know that clear starting point and that kind of, we're not having to chop into that software, chop into that one, it did make it a slightly more clearer path for everyone in that classroom. So to be able to bring those ones together as well, and equally being able to bring in game-based activities or some different graphic organizers or manipulatives just into one place really does support that as well. Another one that you can add into this is the Desmos calculator. So if I click on this Desmos calculator here, I can actually bring that and put that into my lesson. I can set up everything to go in beforehand. I can add in images, and you can see here just briefly all the different kind of parts within it, the different functions that you can add to it. And there's loads in that as well. If you want to know more about adding this content here, there's lots of support on the Desmos on their website, as well as some great videos on our social channels as well about using that Desmos, and there's some actual in-depth uses of all that as well. But I'm just going to add that, continue editing, I'm just going to add that into the lesson now, just so you can see where that is. And actually I wanted that one a little bit further down. That was after the group work, after the solving it there. I'm just going to add that content there as well. So it's in the right place. So then the students can really get engaged with that and actually use that graphic calculator on their desks as well, and be able to interact with that. And if they're combining it with any other resource as well, that's a really useful tool to have on there as well. On that kind of same way of adding more stuff to the lesson itself, you can add new pages. Now what is new is actually this new page is falling under templates. So if I want to add a new page, if I want to just add a plain blank page, fine, no problem. If I wanted to add, that was the basic template, but you have got all these now, lots of really nicely organized templates, some kind of simple ones, some kind of more smart Lumio based ones, as well as a wider range at the top as well. Go and have a play and see which one it kind of suits you best. I'm just going to click on this graph page one here. So it's going to import this lesson. It's going to see the slides that I've got within there, and then which ones I want. Actually, I don't want the line papers for my maths. I only wanted the squared paper. Let's go for this one here. I'm going to add that one. And now that's taking that one page with the background, and it's going to put it within my lesson, and I can continue to plot graphs. And if I wanted multiple ones of those, I can use 3 dots, and I can just duplicate that page. So I can see that I'm now adding to that file and make it more of a workbook that students can be using that as well. So let's just click finish. And now that lesson there is ready, updated, good to go from that sense there. So let's just jump back to our objectives we had from the beginning. We've got individual handouts sending out to everybody. We've got collaborative ones working together. I think I looked at those in the opposite order, but you'll forgive me, I hope. We've looked at the templates. So the templates within Notebook itself, this is Notebook here. So rather than the Lumio lesson that I was looking at was just online based, this is Smart Notebook, and your templates are all inside here in your gallery. You can either create your own and then add them to your gallery, or if you want to just use some of the ones that are in here as well. So for example, I've just made a few ones like this. I've changed the color of the background in your preferences at the side there. I've added a data learning objective place. You can add that and secure that if you want. Added a template of, if you type for grid, then you'll be able to find different papers within that as well. So I had a line paper and there's a squared paper just set up ready. So when I'm preparing my content or halfway through the lessons, I've got these ready to go here. And you can see there's some games and activities that you can put into that, those as well as if you just wanted to add pictures within that as well. And these I just copied from, I did a Google search, copied it into here and dragged and dropped it into my content at the side there. So I've got those as templates to use within the lesson as well. Let's just go back to Page Sorter. Other objectives for today, looking at engaging with multiple works. So if I wanted to send out my whole lesson through Lumio, but as I've got it here, as I click start on this lesson, everybody is on one page because I am currently on Teacher Paste. If I clicked on Student Paste, what that gives the ability to do is that for the students to actually move up and down the lesson. So I can put the teacher that side and the student this side. So it might be that one of the students here goes to work on this page here, and they're doing the graph on that one, but actually there's the other group here are working together on a separate page completely on page 8. So now I can have different groups working on different spaces, and we can have that ability. So it might be that they've got the same activity, they kind of look and feel the same, but one of them is looking at slightly different content based on the needs of those individuals for that as well. So that's a really good way of that differentiation within it. And you can see that I'm just duplicating those pages like I did when I was editing the lesson can be a great way to kind of get them involved with that as well. So I think that is where we are, and that was just a link saying that there's the new features. So it's a brand new one. Have a look out for that when you next log into Loomio. To log into Loomio, just go to lum.io and you can sign in for that for free. So here is a challenge for you to have a go at using that individual or the collaborative workspaces. How are you going to engage your students and to be part of their learning and take that active role? Have a go with that and share it amongst your colleagues, share it amongst your friends. And of course, if you want to let me know, I'd love to see that as well. Or if you want to post something on social, feel free to do so using that hashtag there, We Are Smart. And of course, all the usual social platforms, have a look for those itself. There were some really good questions that did pop up in the live session. So I'm just going to cut out now and we'll have a look at some of those questions now.
So can you alter the groups so at random, or is it randomly assigned? So at the beginning, when we first do those, the groups are randomly assigned. Once you've randomly assigned them, in fact, let's just do it on this one here. Collaborative workspace, they first of all randomly assign, but then if you do want to change those over, I can just drag and drop and put those into wherever I want, or actually in this case, I can bring you all into one group as well. So that's how that one goes there. Can't see anything on the slide. That's probably because I stopped the lesson there. Sorted. So you can't write on yours there. That might have been because that was a page where it was a teacher paste slide. So that one is just you showing that's kind of that more of the teaching side of things. But it might have been, you just need to refresh your browser because it wasn't quite loading on that one there. Another question here, is Loomio part of Learning Suite? Smart Learning Suite is the kind of overall bracket of our software. And within that, you're going to get the full access to Smart Notebook, and you're going to have access to Loomio as well. And that's just one license. There is a trial of both if you want to have a go with them. But if you've got the Smart license, then you have got full access to Loomio for that as well. So go away and have a go. Or if you're not sure, let me know and I can come and support that. Just jumping down these questions here. And I've answered that one as well. Fantastic.
Hopefully you found those answers useful and some of the questions quite poignant as well. And if you've got any other questions, then like I said previously, feel free to put them in the comments below or email me directly, and we'll continue that conversation there, which is good. So if you do want to join live, the next session is going to be on the 21st of October, so feel free to join us, and it's looking at sharing this content. There's no point in making it and reinventing it every time. How can we share that with our teachers, our colleagues, so that they can benefit from our kind of hard work as well? But equally, how can we share it with our students? Whether it's through Teams, whether it's through Google Classroom, whether it's through any other learning platform, ClassDojo, a secure part of your school network, or however might want it to be. We'll have a look at that in a lot more detail next week, in a couple of weeks' time on the 21st of October. So it'd be great to see you live. Thank you very much for joining and watching this video here, and we'll speak to you again soon. Thank you, and take care. Goodbye.